the center line of Holtzman. It's always got Holtzman moving his feet. Oh, 1-2 down the middle.
Right hand.
Holtzman in a wonderful finish.
Mateusz Gamrot!
Is this Polish powerhouse the most dominant grappler since Khabib? Mateusz Gamrot.
Jeez, the pace of the...
He outgrappled Arman Tsarukyan.
And will hammer away to the final horn. What a way to finish.
And now stands just one win away from the long-awaited title shot. With a grinding wrestling game and suffocating pressure capable of breaking any top contender in the UFC's lightweight division, this Polish powerhouse looks to mirror the dominance he once displayed in KSW, where he reigned as a two-division champion.
Exactly when to set up into that. He knows when to put his weight down. He knows when to hand fight. There we go, he's got it!
As he prepares for the defining battle of his UFC journey, it's the perfect moment to revisit the torture seminars he's delivered in the past. Mateusz Gamrot's journey in combat sports began at just 10 years old, when he first stepped onto the wrestling mats. As a teenager, he joined the Polish national wrestling team, captured medals at both junior and youth championships. Over the course of his wrestling career, he competed in more than 300 matches, including appearances at European and World Championships. In 2011, Gamrot transitioned into mixed martial arts under the guidance of World Wrestling Champion Andrzej Kościelski. His grappling skills shine, winning European Amateur MMA Gold in 2012 and 2013, before adding Polish and ADCC grappling titles to his growing legacy. Gamrot's MMA arrival on February 4, 2012, was less a debut and more a hostile takeover. The first opponent who got in his way was brutalized so badly that the doctor had to step in mid-second round to stop the carnage. Mateusz then won the NOC lightweight tournament by sending Tomasz Matuszewski to the gallows early in the first round. After going 3-0 on the local circuit, the gamer was welcomed to the Polish KSW organization, which is widely regarded as one of the most prestigious MMA leagues in Europe. He was welcomed by Mateusz Zawadzki, who was riding a 10-fight unbeaten streak. The wrestler immediately muscled the foe down to the floor. He returned to his feet momentarily, so Gamrot gladly served him an extra meal. Even in the striking department, Mateusz had the advantage in the artillery exchanges. However, he quickly returned to his primary instinct. The mat became his domain and he ruled it like a tyrant. Once he latched on, it was like wrestling a collapsing building.
Dlatego, że spojrzał Tomasz Broter, czy może się bronić teraz?
The antagonist survived the round, but his spirit was already broken. After gesticulating to his corner that he could no longer continue, the fight was stopped.
Na środku ringu, tak jest, jeszcze potwierdzenie oznajmił nam, że koniec pojedynku.
After adding 2 more unanimous decision victories to his winning column, the gamer went on a side quest to Wales to fight Tim Newman under the Cage Warriors banner. The over-aggressive opponent started launching ballistic missiles, so the Polish fighter took him down to the dirt. But instead of turning on his ground-and-pound shredder as usual, Gamrot put his money on the gentle art of jiu-jitsu by attacking the leg. After adjusting himself on the ground and tightening the lock, the opposition decided to tap so he could go home with all his limbs intact. In December 2014, the gamer returned to his homeland and won a one-sided unanimous decision victory against Łukasz Hewicki. Then, on February 21, 2015, he was matched against Rodrigo Cavallero Correa, a dangerous finisher with inhuman KO power. It made no sense for the wrestler to trade dynamite with the Brazilian slugger, so he arm-mailed him into the mat. After a dominant first round, the two action fighters played a chess match at close range without doing anything reckless. But then, in the third, the Polish wrestler channeled his inner crow cop and head-kicked the unlucky fella. Wobbled and running out of gas, the Brazilian had no answer to Gamrot's takedown. The gamer secured a dominant position and started to drop bombs from the top until the referee had seen enough.
Mateusz Gamrot i wbija głowę Brazylijczyka. Sekundy.
The Polish wrestler decided to improve his record further, so he accepted a bout against Mariusz Piryjev next, an undefeated Russian with an 18-0 record. the Dagestani Russian powerhouse realized he was no longer the uncontested leader of the wrestling hierarchy. Mateusz unleashed the mother of all bombs to the head, and after checking a low kick, he started unloading grenades, dropping the enemy. Shortly after, he discovered his talent for drumming, leaving the referee with no other choice but to wave the fight off. At this point, the prospect was undefeated with a 10-0 record. The writing was on the wall, and the only reasonable move next was fighting for the title. Finally, on May 27, 2016, Mateusz Gamrot was given the opportunity to fight for the vacant KSW Lightweight Championship, and the man standing across from him was Mansour Barnawi, a submission artist and former M1 Global Champion. The gamer turned the opponent into a crash test dummy over and over again. The mat became his domain, and he ruled it like a tyrant. The opposition was good on the ground, but out-grappling Gamrot was like trying to wrestle a greased-up octopus.
When the bell goes, unbelievable, and it's going down here in Poland.
In a one-sided pounding where Mateusz was the blacksmith, the referees had no doubt who the winner was, and who the new KSW lightweight champion would be. In his first title defense, the Polish powerhouse was matched against KO artist Renato Gomes Gabriel. Gamrot's takedown worked wonders again. The Brazilian had no counter for those attacks. The champ worked on the submission diligently and closed the show with another heel hook finish.
When to put his weight down, he knows when to hand fight. There we go, he's got it!
On May 27, 2017, the gamer had another mountain to climb by the name of Norman Park, a former Bama lightweight champion. From the outset, both men wrote their intentions in capital letters. Neither came to play patty cake. This was full contact truth. But when the dust settled, only one stood tall in the rubble. The two were immediately set for a rematch, but the fight was overturned to a non-title bout due to Norman missing weight. However, it didn't matter in the end, since an accidental eye poke rendered Park unable to continue, resulting in a no contest. The next lightweight who got in the way was Grzegorz Żułkowski, at the time on an 8-fight winning streak. For 4 rounds, the gamer put on a wrestling clinic on the opponent. He wrote the script, directed the scene, and acted out the beatdown. And after leaving the enemy bloody and busted up, he ended his suffering with a key lock submission.
Jeszcze może spaść.
Jeszcze klucz. I koniec walki.
On December 1st, 2018, Mateusz Gamrot decided to move down a division and challenge for the vacant KSW featherweight belt to become a 2-division champ. The antagonist determined to stop him was Kleber Koike Herbst, a submission wizard and a 2nd-degree BJJ black belt. As expected, the wrestler treated his opponent like a UPS loader treating your fragile package. On the ground, Kleber's black belt proved as useless as a screen door on a submarine. The enemy hoped for a battle in the trenches, but his Polish counterpart kept challenging him in the open fields. After 5 grueling rounds, Kleber's face no longer resembled his passport photo, and victory was awarded to Gamrot. And with that, the KSW lightweight champ captured the featherweight gold too, becoming a 2-division champ.
Koike pressurizing Gamrot, and Gamrot being made to miss. I mean, these two guys are high-level warriors. Great knee strike.
However, on May 17, 2019, Gamrot announced that he had vacated his 2 belts and did not renew his contract to KSW. That statement changed in 2020, as the wrestling powerhouse was matched for a trilogy fight against Norman Park. This time, Mateusz beat the rival so badly that the doctor had to step in to save him for another day. With this one-sided beatdown, the gamer left no room for a sequel, closing the Norman Park chapter forever. Gamrot continued his domination in KSW, scoring another unanimous decision victory against Marian Żułkowski and improving his flawless record to 17-0. And it was around this time that his reputation reached American soil. The UFC matchmakers took notice and sent a contract with his name on it.
A czas płynie, tych sekund do zakończenia coraz...
Mateusz Gamrot made his UFC debut on October 18, 2020, against Guram Kutataladze, who was riding an 8-fight winning streak. Gamrot's wrestling game was on point as always, hitting takedowns like they were part of a demolition order. His shots came like a freight train, unstoppable and devastating. Yet for some reason, he couldn't sway the judges and tasted the bitterness of defeat for the first time via split decision.
You see Mateusz Gamrot when you get to, that's a nice takedown.
There was no time to grieve. The following year, the man who welcomed him back was BJJ black belt Scott Holtzman. This time, the wrestling powerhouse couldn't afford to take prisoners, so he put Holtzman out of commission with a picture-perfect 1-2 combo. That flawless performance earned him his first Performance of the Night bonus, and the gamer was only getting started.
He's always got Holtzman moving his feet. Oh, 1-2 down the middle.
3 months later, he faced Jeremy Stephens, the hardest-hitting 145-pounder, widely regarded as a knockout artist with a PhD in violence. While most remember Jeremy for his exchange of words with McGregor, let's not forget he has shut the lights off legends like Rafael dos Anjos and Josh Emmett. Instead of playing Russian roulette on the feet with this slugger, the Polish wrestler relied on his most trusted weapon, wrestling. From there, he hunted the submission, and once he got Jeremy's arm, it was GG. Well played. This masterpiece earned him another Performance of the Night bonus, and the whole affair lasted just 65 seconds.
He's got the leg. No doubt, Jeremy. Excellent team down there at Alliance. Working on that position, but well done.
Wanting to finish 2021 with a bang, Mateusz accepted a fight with Carlos Diego Ferreira, a third-degree BJJ black belt with wins over Rustam Kabalov and Anthony Pettis. Gamrot cooked the foe's liver with a knee and went for the kill. The fight was already over before Gamrot even tightened the noose.
Son las costillas. Es una rendición verbal. Ferreira se da cuenta que está lastimado.
The wrestler was ready for the toughest challenge of his career. On June 25, 2022, the UFC matched him against another elite wrestler, Arman Tsarukyan. The dynamic duo set the tone immediately. It began as a technical chess match and descended into beautiful chaos. Both men entered as warriors, only one would leave as a legend. The final bell rang, but the echoes of their war lingered. Ultimately, the judges declared Mateusz Gamrot the winner. Beating Tsarukyan wasn't easy, and outgrappling him only solidified Gamrot's title candidacy. But destiny had other plans. In his next bout against Beneil Dariush, Beneil's experience came into play, allowing him to outscore the Polish wrestler over 3 rounds. However, the gamer redeemed himself over the next 2 years with big wins over elites like Jalen Turner, Rafael Fiziev, and Rafael dos Anjos, showing the gap between himself and the rest of the contenders.
Behind the jab a little bit more in the final minute.
Then came another bump on the road against Dan Hooker, a violent brawler with one-shot KO power. Although Gamrot won the grappling exchanges, Hooker did slightly more damage in the striking department. The judges had to weigh effective grappling versus effective shrinking and siding with the latter.
Furious start for Poland's Gamrot.
Oh my goodness.
He's very busy, always on top too.
Aggressive tonight.
Always.
Oh my goodness.
This split decision loss stung, and to put it behind him, he accepted a clash on May 31st, 2025 against Ludovic Klein, who was on a 7-fight unbeaten streak in the UFC. Up to this point, Klein had one of the best takedown defense percentages in the UFC. But this time, he faced a different kind of animal. Gamrot's relentless wrestling pace melted the opponent faster than a candle under a blowtorch. Klein tried to shake him off, but Gamrot stuck tighter than tack stat. In the end, Mateusz ruined Klein's takedown defense stat, along with his 7-fight unbeaten streak.
Got what he came for. He wanted to stay in the fight. He didn't care where.
Mateusz Gamrot brings a pressure-heavy wrestling game unlike anyone else in the division, paired with a striking arsenal that can shut the lights off on any opponent. Now he's been handed the chance to face a true UFC legend, Charles Oliveira. A win over the Brazilian could be his golden ticket to a long-awaited title shot. With a wrestling-first style that matches up perfectly against elite BJJ fighters, the odds of such an outcome feel more real than ever. Standing on the sweet spot of his career, where experience meets youth, Gamrot is primed for gold. And when the UFC slides that contract across the table for a championship bout, you can bet the gamer will be ready to grab it with both hands. If you enjoyed the video, Front kick that like button, subscribe to the channel, and join the Dialed In MMA Club today.